on that straight gate, man. Hey. Trying to find peace in a world full of darkness. That is the hardest. Wise like a serpent, but like a dove harmless. Watching with sharpness. Everywhere I look, I see the devil's incarnate. With spiritual varnish. Trying to hide the fact that they mock and heartless. Heart hardened with the hardness. Rakakadash harness, feeling like a Spartan, kicking up the heartless from wicked or departed. Body's a temple, turn to a fortress, purge out the evil like a catharsis, lift the old beat like a carcass. Cause his sin blotted him like scarlet, feeling like David, I'm a harpist. Now my new French garment are tarnished. The straight gate I started, blessed with this gift. Now my flow cold as the Arctic, but stay grounded like a carpet. Weeds of pride can't even get started. In my mind, that's a garden. Gotta pluck them out or get sorted. Not tried by Judah, but I'm straight lion-hearted. Can't bring back to life that wickedness I aborted. Most can't even begin to understand this path I'm on. It's just not for them. Narrow's the path that leads to life, and few there be that find it. Broad is the path that leads to destruction, and many there be that go in there at. Just trying to let my light shine. Now they looking at me like I ain't in my right mind. Signs of the end times. They all be drunk, sipping on Babylon wine. Damn, man, they love it. Put nothing above it, that is they idols, so they my rivals. We contend with the wicked while keeping it tribal. You'll be held liable for sins you committing won't be justifiable. Come back to the Bible. I'm calling you Jacob, come back to the Bible. But y'all don't want to hear that. I can see y'all really fear that. You trying to stay clear that. Don't even wanna believe the fact that you chosen. End time prophecy unfolding while the word molding. All of it's chosen, repentance is closing. Come back to the Bible, Jacob, I'm hoping for you. If you walk this path, there's no one before you. Keep laws and faith to the Most High, you'll floor you forever. The entrance to the kingdom is straight and narrow, set in a dangerous place. Like there's fire on the one side and deep water on the other. So small that only one man can go at a time. It's easy to fall, man.
The spirit bears witness of you devils, heathens all around, but I'ma hold it down to the 12 gates to make it from the ghettos, rags to riches, slaves to kings and wearing crowns. First you gotta make it to the straight gate. That life of sin you must vacate. Many are called, but few of them chosen. We doing the works for his name's sake. I plant the seed, you can water it. Look at the fruits that Yahweh brought out of it. I was a heathen and proud of it. Till he uprooted my life, I grew out of it. I open Bible up every day. Speak to my people to elevate. They believe there's one heaven gate. Narrow the path you must navigate. We in the loss of identity, but the Bible is our remedy. I raise my hand to the heavenly, knowing that he will never be forgetting me. Humble myself in sincerity, worshipping idols the enemy. Don't you know he is the Alpha, Omega, beginning and end? You must be out your mind. Are you Kennedy? Are you kidding me?
Shalom, shalom, Ak.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, BP 619. Shalom. It says there's 5 people on here right now. So most high willing, a few more get in. Shalom to everybody. So we are redoing the lesson from yesterday, talking about hastiness and getting counsel, or getting the right counsel, right? Not just getting counsel, because we know that the majority of people's counsel is not going to be profitable to anybody, right? So we're going to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, our Messiah, Yahweh Shai, and shalom to everybody who's on here right now, right? So we're going to start in Proverbs 19 and 21. Proverbs 19 and 21. And I guess we'll kind of do things backwards. We'll talk about I think we went over some scriptures on hastiness first yesterday. We'll go over counsel a little bit more first, and then work our way backwards to hastiness, just in case some of y'all were on the one yesterday. I know a few of y'all were saying it was choppy, and then it kicked me out a couple times, and so we're redoing it again today, right? So Kwam Yasharala, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatah. All right, so we're going to start in Proverbs 19 and 20.
Khan, this is Proverbs 19 and 20. Hear counsel and receive instruction. that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end.
Right, hear counsel. And if you could get me the next verse as well, Baba Kashak.
Con.
Shalom, Kwame Asharala. So it says, hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. In other words, hear the counsel. What counsel? We're going to see what counsel he's talking about right now. Talking about the Most High's counsel, right? Hear it and receive it. Okay, so just hearing something or listening to something, right? It was like my basketball coach in high school. He gave me a few nuggets of wisdom, even though he wasn't in the truth, right? It's like that one line in my song, I don't know if you've heard. Which one was it in? Oh, in the window, where it says, "If you hang with a piece of shit, you start smelling like a turd."
Con.
That was also my coach from high school, right? But one of the things he said is, you're either listening or you're hearing, right? So when you're just listening, it goes in one ear and out the other, right? So a lot of times when you're actually hearing, you're hearing to understand. And like it says here, you will receive instruction, right? When you're receiving it, you're actually hearing. You're not just listening. Did you hear me? Oh yeah. Well, what did I say? Well, I don't know, right? So that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. So you will be wiser by getting counsel, but not just any counsel. We're going to see what kind of counsel.
19 and 21. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of Yahweh, that shall stand.
That shall stand. So can you get a Sirach 37 and 16, Baba Kishal? So it says, there are many devices in a man's heart. We have, how many thoughts do you think we have every day? Thousands and thousands and thousands, right? Thousands and thousands and thousands. And a lot of times they're not all lined up with the word, right? Especially when you're hasty in your thoughts, right? You just think something real quick and you're not thinking with wisdom. So it says, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of Yahweh, that shall stand, right? So I could come up with 1,000 different pieces of advice to give somebody, but if it's going against the word or it's not backed up with the word is what's going to stand. Yahweh's counsel, which is the laws and precepts of the Bible, right? That is what's going to stand in the end. And think about it, when it's like how it talks about James, a man without faith, he's wavering, right? Yahweh's word is not wavering. It will stand no matter what.
This is Sirach 37 and 15. Let reason go before every enterprise, and counsel before every action.
Let reason go before every enterprise. So an enterprise, when you look into that word, it's more dealing with like something having to do with money or funds, something that can bring some type of gain, right? So think about, like, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna start a business, right? Obviously, you got to use reason before you even do that, and counsel before every action. So if you could get a Psalm 1 and 1, Baba Kashal. Psalm 1 and 1. So let reason go before every enterprise. A lot of people don't use reasoning before they do anything, right? Like they say, common sense isn't so common anymore. When you think about it, it really isn't. People don't use common sense. Just looking at the most prevalent example right now is the jab, right? How many people just went and got it without even using reason, without even getting any type of counsel, without looking into it? They just put their faith in it and they just went after it, right? They got it. And now a bunch of them are sick. A bunch of them are dying. A lot of bad things are happening because of it. So it says, let counsel go before every action. Okay? Every single major action, right? Before you do something, you need to get counsel. Now, the problem is most people are getting the wrong kind of counsel, right?
Yep.
Most people are getting counsel from worldly people. Most people are getting counsel from people that are not in the truth. Which brings us to Psalm 1 and 1.
Psalms 1 and 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful.
So blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly. This verse comes up all the time, doesn't it?
Con.
But it's so simple. But it's like I've said before. Like when I would teach boxing classes, it's like, okay, what are we gonna warm up with? One, then a two, then a 1 2, 1 2, 1 2, right? And they're like, man, we want to learn all these crazy combos and blah blah blah. Well, you got to have the fundamentals down first. A lot of people don't have this down. You're blessed just by not walking in the counsel of the ungodly. When somebody ungodly gives you counsel, you will be blessed if you just don't walk in that counsel. Don't apply that counsel to your life. A lot of times, you don't even ask for counsel from an ungodly person, and they're just going to give it to you anyways. They're just going to tell you whatever, right? It's like yesterday or no, Tuesday, I went and I planted some trees, or I took my grandma a banana tree. I cut some grass at her house, and I mean, she's up there. She's probably 80. I think she's 86 or 87, and she's too scared to even get close to me. We were sitting outside on the porch, and she just started going off about the jab and all these people, and she was like, "Oh, you and your family don't have it. Y'all should really think about it because this, that, and the other," right? Giving all this advice, and she's getting up in the age where she's getting to that point where she's almost senile, you know.
God.
She'll say something and then or ask a question, and then a minute later ask the same question, that sort of thing. So I'm not gonna go out of my way to in any way disrespect her or anything like that. But a lot of times people try to give you ungodly counsel, and you're not even asking for it. So what do you have to do? It says, walk not in the counsel of the ungodly. Don't apply it, even if you hear it, right? So you could give me Proverbs, it's 23. I think it's 6 and 7. Let me see. Con 6 and 7.
Con.
This Proverbs 13 and 20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Con, it's a beautiful precept, Buck.
All praises.
He that walks with wise men shall be wise, right? The problem is a lot of people are walking with fools. What is a fool? Someone who doesn't have the knowledge from the Bible, right? Doesn't have wisdom from the Most High. And what's going to happen if you're walking with those type of people? According to the word, you're going to be destroyed, right?
Because blind leading the blind.
Con, exactly. The blind leading the blind, and they both shall fall into a pit, right? That's what happens when you're always a companion of fools, right? So the problem again is a lot of people want to get counsel from the wrong type of people. So according to the word, you're not even supposed to eat with those types of people, right? Let's get that in Proverbs.
Proverbs 23 and 6. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee.
If you get Matthew 6, 22 and 23. Matthew 6, 22 and 23. So it says, eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye. A lot of people have an evil eye. Okay? An evil eye. Neither desire thou his dainty meats. An evil eye. Now, when people see this, there's two different ways to look at it, right? Like we always say, when you look at the scriptures, there's a physical aspect, and then there's the spiritual aspect. There's some people that you could just tell they have an evil eye towards you. right? They just got that look like, man, they don't want to see you do good. They don't want to see you prosper. If they see you doing good, it pains them, right? But it also means spiritually, right? It also means spiritually. It says, eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. Just because you're around certain people, they may be in your blood family, they may be old friends or whatever the case may be. If they're not in the truth, their heart is not with you, right? Their heart is not their mind, because like it says, as he thinks in his heart, your heart is your mind, right? On the inside, in their heart, in their mind, in their spirit, they're not on one accord with you, right? That's why in Philippians 2:2, the Most High said, fulfill ye my joy and be of one accord. Right? It's a joy to the Most High when you have like-minded brethren, right? When the Most High sees me and the brother Jomar putting together lessons or music or whatever the case may be to bring praises to him, that's a joy to him. But when you have these two different separate people and one of them is trying to walk by the Most High's counsel and the other is not, the Most High is not down with that, right? Let's see what Yahushua said about that.
Matthew 6:22. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?
All right, so Yahushua said the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So now a lot of brothers will go into this to say it means your third eye and you got to open the chakra and what is it called, Doc? The pineal gland and all these types of things, which I'm not saying that that's not true to an extent, but when you start getting into all of these different chakras and doctrines and all this stuff that's not in the word, right? There's certain types of food that nourish your pineal gland, right? And your body is a temple. You're supposed to take care of it. So I'm not saying that, but that's a complete falsity, right? But the light of the body is the eye. When it says that, it's talking about your mind being on the light, right? Which, what is the light? Yahushua, the word, the law, all of it, right? The law, statutes, commandments, precepts. If you want to get Proverbs 6:23, Proverbs 6:23, and it goes along with this with Matthew 6:23. But if thine eye be evil, if you're not following the word, then what does the Most High consider you? Considers you evil, right? Wicked. If thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is thy darkness? So what Yahushua was saying is either your mind, your eye is going to be single, right? On that straight gate, on the straight path, on the light, and then it's going to be full of that light, which is this.
For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
So the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, right? And like the brother said, Yahushua is the light, because Yahushua is what? He is the word in the flesh, right? So really the whole word, and Yahushua is the word, is that light. If your body or if your eye is single, it's going to be, your whole body is going to be full of light.
Matthew 6:22, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?
So you have to understand, going back to Proverbs when it says, eat not the bread of him that has an evil eye, right? Like the brother just read. If your eye is evil, your whole body is full of darkness. And as somebody in the truth, right? Like I had posted yesterday about being set apart. A lot of people act like that is a suggestion, but it's really a command. Multiple times, it's commanded to be set apart. The Most High said, "As I'm holy, you shall be holy." You look up the definition of holy, and it is set apart, right? So we aren't supposed to have any type of communion. As a matter of fact, if you get 2 Corinthians 6 and I think it's 14 and 17. 14 and then verse 14 and verse 17. Right? So what does this have to do with counsel? This is just showing you that if you're not even supposed to eat with people like that, right? If somebody is evil and you're not even supposed to eat with people like that, how much worse is it if you're getting counsel from them and you're acting off of that counsel? Right? You're living off of what other people say. And this goes hand in hand with the whole hastiness, because a lot of people are hasty to take other people's advice, right? Even if they're not in the truth. Even if they claim to be in the truth, you shouldn't take their advice unless they can back it up with scriptures. Because I've gotten some counsel, let me tell you, I've gotten some counsel from certain brothers before in the past, and I took it, and then come to find out it wasn't really backed up with the scriptures, right?
Water baptism,
exactly. I mean, I went what, almost 4 years in the truth, believing that water baptism was, I was a Christian if I got it done, and this, that, and the other, and I just rolled with that, right? But guess what? They were using one scripture to back it up. One scripture, and then looking into the Greek, and it says you're washed with the water of the word, and that water and that washing doesn't even equal baptism. It's not even the same word. You know what I'm saying? So going back to this, or yeah, let's read this actually.
2 Corinthians 6 and 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?
What communion has light with darkness? Right? What communion are you supposed to have if you're trying to live in the light, trying to live and follow the Most High's words, but then you're taking counsel from those that are in darkness, right? Going back to Proverbs, was it 23 and 7? Or Salakia 6. You want to read that one more time?
Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats.
So you're not even supposed to eat with those that have evil eye. Because like we said, like Yahushua said, if your eye is evil, your whole body is full of darkness. Right? And then 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, it says, what communion has light with darkness?
17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
So come out from among them, be separate, and then the Most High will receive you. Right? So if you're supposed to be separate from those type of people, right, and then you're over here getting counsel from them, from ungodly people, how much less is he going to accept you? Right? So Psalm 1 and 1, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Right? You got to remember that only the counsel of the Most High is going to stand. Want to read this one more time, Shah?
Sirach 37 and 16. Let reason go before every enterprise, and counsel before every action.
Let reason go before every enterprise, and counsel before every action. So before you do anything, don't be in a hasty spirit. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna join this camp. I'm just gonna start teaching. I'm just gonna get married. I'm just gonna, whatever the case may be. I'm just gonna get this job, and then come to find you got to sin to keep that job, right? There's a lot of things that you shouldn't do without getting counsel first. Kingdom minded 144K. Shalom. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Doing pretty good. All praise to the Most High. Right, so if you could get Sirach 37, and we're gonna go 7 all the way through 12. 7 through 12. So we're gonna look at some of the types of people that you should not be getting advice from. Right? So being set apart as a command, right? Leviticus 20 and 26, and ye shall be holy unto me, for I Yahweh am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. Right? And there's at least 2 or 3 more just in Leviticus that say the exact same thing. That you're supposed to be set apart. Right? So going back to the very first verse real quick while the brother posts up those. Proverbs 19 and 20. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. If you're getting worldly counsel or instruction, you're not going to be wiser in the end. 21. There are many devices in a man's heart, nevertheless the counsel of Yahweh that shall stand. The Most High's counsel is going to stand. So we're going to look at a couple examples of people, the types of people not to counsel with, and then we'll look at the types of people that you are supposed to counsel with. Natasha, shalom, sis. Shalom. It's all good, dog. At least it ain't going as slow as yesterday. I don't know if you. Oh, you.
I caught the live. It was choppy, huh?
I mean, that's what people were saying. So it eventually kicked me off. So I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna have to redo it.
All right, I got you up. This is Sirach 37 and 7. Every counselor exalteth counsel, but there is some that counseleth for himself.
So every counselor, every person that you get counsel from is going to extol counsel. They're going to say or act like counsel is a good thing, right? And counsel is a good thing if it's counsel coming from the Most High, right? But there is some people that are only counseling for themselves, right? A perfect example of this, and I think of one sister in particular that it was a while back, probably more than a year ago for sure, probably close to 2 years ago, that she was getting counsel from her brother consistently, and then she said, yeah, well, he basically made it known that he was just counseling me because he had a interest in courting me, which I'm not saying is wrong, right? But he waited a very long period of time to tell her, and once she let him know that she was actually getting into a courting process with someone else, he got pretty upset and basically cut her off, right? Which I'm not saying it's wrong if a brother's counseling a female, especially in these last days, and she's single, hey, I mean, that's something that's going to be common and that's going to happen. But doing things decently and in order, right? Like we've talked about before, right? You got to be straight up with your intentions, right? You can't be. It's like it said in in the so-called New Testament. It says that there was no guile found in Yahushua's mouth. Guile is like a form of like trickery or deceit, right? Like you say something, but you have a hidden agenda behind it. We can't be like that. But you need to understand that a lot of people that counsel you do have a hidden agenda behind it, right? There is some that counseleth for himself. They're going to counsel you in a way that's going to benefit them in one way or another. Another example I could give is I've personally dealt with certain brothers from camps years ago when me and other brothers were consistently going out and teaching, and they were trying to bring us into camp to their camps, and they're counseling us, yeah, you really need to get with the camp because this and support and this and that. And then it comes to the fact, or then we come to learn, okay, well, you're going to have to pay this much a month to us, though. You know what I mean? And all those smooth words, really, we understood them after we learned that. You know what I'm saying? So there's some that counsel for themselves. Go ahead.
Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he hath, for he will counsel for himself, lest he cast the lot upon thee.
So beware of a counselor, and before you get counsel, know what needs they have. Right? There's brothers, I forgot the brother's name that was in New York. It was years ago when I was first coming into the truth, but he actually extorted, I don't know how many thousands of dollars from his camp, right? And he got locked up for it. Right? There was another brother that was in GMS here in Texas, and he did the same thing. He took thousands and thousands of dollars from a dude that used to be in the NFL actually. Right? And that brother, or the dude that was in the NFL, he actually ended up, from what I heard, he's not in the truth anymore because of what happened. Right? So you got to know that sometimes people will counsel for their own benefit. Right? And beware of that.
And say unto thee, thy way is good, and afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee.
So some counselors may say, yeah, your way is good. What you're doing is right. And then when things don't go bad for you, guess what? They're going to stand on the other side, and they're going to act like they're just going to see what happens. They're not going to help you out, right? They're not going to take blame for it.
Consult not with one that suspected thee, and hide thy counsel from such as envy thee.
So now two different types of people right here that you should not get counsel from, that you should not counsel with, right? One that suspects you, okay? And I can tell you from experience, before I was in the truth, I would get advice from a cousin of mine, and this was back when, like I've said many times before, I was let's just say a career thief, and I actually got accused of stealing something in the city that I was living in, and they were trying to press charges on me and stuff. And I went to my cousin because he's been in and out of the judicial system, we'll just say that, throughout his whole life. And I went to him and I was like, hey bro, I need help, whatever, like what do you think I should do? I didn't do this, but they're gonna press charges on me. And I didn't do it. But since my track record, I guess you could say, right, I went to counsel him, and the first thing he told me was, come on, man, come on, primo, you know you did it, and this, that, and the other, right? He suspected me right away, right? That's not the right type of person to counsel with. Okay, consult not with one that suspected thee. And another type, of even more so, and hide thy counsel from such as envy thee. Right? Jealous people, that is not the type of person to counsel with. Envious people, that's the last type of person you want to counsel with. right? There's sisters that well, there's one sister in particular that has asked me about this many times, and I told her, like, look, I can counsel you, give you advice, whatever, but it's the particular thing she was coming to me for was more of a female issue. So I said, look, you should maybe reach out to a sister, maybe reach out to my wife or whatever. And she said, well, I've dealt with so many females in the truth before, and they seem to be very, very jealous. They're very envious, and that's why she didn't want to deal with sisters anymore, right? And I'm sure we've all dealt with envious or jealous people before. And envy, actually, if you could look up I think it's in Proverbs, it says but envy, who can stand, or who can stand before envy?
Con.
Baba Kashaw. So an envious person, a jealous person, that's not the type of person to go to, right? It's like even in the world, when a sister asks somebody, let's say she's dating a man, right? And she goes and asks her single friend, hey, what do you think? Right? What do you think about him? And then this woman is gonna say, she's gonna pick out every single little thing. No, well, he this and he that and this, that, and the other. But in reality, she's just jealous because you have a man and she doesn't. Right?
Proverbs 27:4. Wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy?
Who is anger and wrath? Those are bad, but who can stand before envy? Right? People kill all the time because they're jealous. How many times have people died because, hey, my ex is now with this guy and I'm gonna go and do this to him or whatever, right? But look at Selena, right?
That's the first person I thought of.
Khan. That's a perfect example. Selena Quintanilla. Look what happened to her. That little lady was jealous, she was envious, and she put her to death, right? She put her light out for it. So don't consult with people or get counsel from people that are envy of you. And that's something that's going to come with discernment, because a lot of people hide their envy well. Right?
Neither consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous, neither with a coward in matters of war, nor with a merchant concerning exchange.
So three different types of people. Don't consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous. Don't consult with anything having to do with a jealous woman. Right? Like I just went over. Neither with a coward in matters of war. Right? So if let's say, well, I'll give a worldly example first. If I was gonna go have an MMA fight, right? And would I go and consult and get advice from somebody who doesn't know how to fight? Of course not, right? That would be stupid. So we have to understand a spiritual war is what we're all living out every day, right? It doesn't matter if you're a day in the truth or 10 years in the truth, we're all going through a spiritual war. You can't get advice or expect good counsel or good advice from a spiritual coward, right? What is a spiritual coward? It's someone who just gives in. If I was, let's say again, if I got into a fight, a boxing match or an MMA fight, and I just automatically, I just cower, right? And I just get beat, right? I just give up. Or I've seen people videos where they just walk in and they just tap the floor. They get so scared they just give up. That's how a lot of people are in this truth. If temptation or a trial or something comes, and automatically they're gonna cower, right? They just give in. Here's the weed. Oh, I'm not smoking. Okay, they hit it, right? Real quick. That's a spiritual coward, and you got to understand that in matters of spiritual war, right? We can't go to those types of people for counsel, right? Also, say you're going out to teach, you can't have a coward with you going out to teach, because like I said yesterday in the live, I remember one time me and a brother went out there, and we saw this person from across the street, and they had you could tell they had at least one or a few demons on them, walk straight up to us, and they were like, "Oh, you want to pet my dog?" I was like, "No, no, no," and I asked them something. I like deflected, asked them something about the scriptures, and they just looked in our eyes and walked off. And then me and the brother that I was with, we looked at each other like, yeah, he had demons on him. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of war anytime you're dealing with the scriptures, right? Nor with a merchant concerning exchange, right? Imagine you're trying to consult with somebody about a price, and they're trying to sell you something. Oh, well, how much are you selling that for? Well, how much will you give me? Well, what's a fair price? Okay, $10,000. That's not the type of person to consult with, right? Go ahead.
Nor with a buyer of selling, nor with an envious man of thankfulness, nor with an unmerciful man touching kindness, nor with a slothful for any work.
So again, it says neither. It starts by saying neither consult. Don't consult or get counsel with, right? With a buyer of selling. So you're gonna counsel somebody that's trying to buy something from you. You're trying to sell something to them. What are they gonna try to do, Ak?
Trying to highball you.
So they're gonna try and lowball you, right? If you're selling it,
yeah,
so they're gonna try to get the lowest price. So why are you gonna consult with them about that? Just give them a price, right? Nor with an envious man of thankfulness. You're gonna consult about let's say you have a jealous man that's never happy with anything that he's gotten in life, right? The Most High blessed him with all these things, and he's still envious of everything else. And then you're going to consult about him about being thankful. That makes no sense, right? He's not thankful for what he has in the first place. Nor with an unmerciful man touching kindness, right? You're going to try and talk to someone who is completely unmerciful, talking about kindness. He knows nothing about it. Nor with a slothful for any work. And then you're going to talk about, oh yeah, I got to get all this work done, right? With somebody who sits on their ass all day and plays video games and smokes weed all day, right? How are they going to give you any advice when it comes to work?
Nor with an hireling for a year of finishing work, nor with an idle servant of much business. Hearken not unto these in any matter of counsel.
Don't counsel with a hireling for a year of finishing work. So let's say somebody, they got a job for a year, right? And you got a job that as soon as you finish, you get paid. And then you're talking about, all right, yeah, well, I can't wait. Let's finish this as quick as possible. What do you mean let's finish this as quick as possible? I'm working for a year no matter what, right? Nor with an idle servant of much business. Like the example I just gave, a lot of people are idle servants, even to the Most High, right? They may say they believe the word, they have faith, whatever the case may be, but they're idle. They're not doing anything, right? Yeah, I see all these things that are happening. They're not doing nothing, right? They're just letting things. They're living day to day, right? Day by day. Hearken not unto these in any matter of counsel, right? Anybody. So basically, you could sum it all up by this: if they don't have wisdom in a certain area, why are you going to go to counsel for them, or why are you going to go to them for counsel in that area, right? It's like if I was having marriage problems, am I going to go to somebody who's never been in a relationship before? No, right? If I'm making music, am I going to go to some brother that doesn't know nothing about music and has never made music? Or am I going to go to Jomar, who's studied music and who makes good music? Right? Simple answer. So if you want to let the Most High's word stand, like it said in you want to read this one more time?
Proverbs 19:21. There are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of Yahweh, that shall stand.
So if you want to let the counsel of the Most High stand, then you have to get counsel from somebody who's giving you counsel from the Most High's word.
37:12. But be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry.
So the type of person that you are supposed to be getting counsel from and be around continually is a godly man, right? What is a godly man? That's someone who knows the word and someone who's living by the word, right? If you could get Sirach 6 and 6 and then 14 through 17.
All in chapter 6, huh?
Khan, Salakia, all in chapter 6. So it says, be continually with a godly man whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of Yahweh. Right? Why are you supposed to be around a godly person who keeps the commandments? Because however the people you're around are, that is how you are going to be. Right? Your mind, their mind is going to be according to your mind. The more you hang out with those types of people, the more you're on one accord and one mind with them, right? I'm going to go back to, let me see, Philippians 2:2. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind, right? The people that you hang out with, you're going to be on one accord. You're going to be on one mind, having one mind with them, whether you realize it or not, right? And like the brother brought out earlier, Proverbs 13, let me get it. You want to read that real quick, God?
13:20. He that walketh with wise man shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed.
Plain and simple, right? You walk with wise men, you'll be wise. You walk with fools, you're going to be destroyed, just like they're going to be destroyed, right? Go ahead.
I know that from coming into this truth, just by setting yourself apart from reading scripture and following the Most High. There's this saying, tell me, obviously, I mean, most people know it, tell me who you hang with and I'll tell you who you are. You know, coming into this truth, you start becoming, you know, more of a set apart saint, somebody who follows the truth slowly. You know, those people that are around you, you start to shed that. I don't, not to disrespect people, but it becomes dead weight. You know, what they bring to the table becomes dead weight. Which we hope to be the light and to enlighten them in the ways and the commandments of the Most High, to follow them so that they can also follow the Most High. However, just by simply following the Most High, I feel like a lot of people could, you know, go around actually hanging around with those people, because a lot of the times we leave doors open to things like temptation, sin, things of that nature, just by hanging around those people, you know?
Calm, for sure. For sure. If you want to get a Sirach 13:1, Bob Kashaw, Sirach 13:1. And yeah, that's 100%. I think everybody that's sincere in the truth comes to realize that, right? That the people, there's really, and again, like you said, not trying to be disrespectful or nothing, but if you're hanging out with people that are not on the same mission as you, how can they help you to accomplish that mission? They can't, right? Again, it's like I always go back to MMA and things like that. It's like in the gym, there were certain people, say we have 50 people training in a day, right? And then it's okay, it's time for sparring. Today's sparring day, we're gonna do MMA sparring. And then there'll be some people like, hey, you want to spar with me? And it's like, bro, you can't help me in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to slow down, or you're gonna get hurt, or I'm gonna have to. There's no way that you could possibly help me. So you want to be going with the people that are gonna better you, right? So it's the same thing in the truth. Like iron sharpens iron. Why?
17.
Con. So why are you gonna wanna? You're not gonna if you're trying to sharpen your iron, and then you want to be with somebody who's like a damn pencil eraser or something. What's gonna happen? They're not gonna benefit you. They might make you feel smarter or wiser or something like that, right? Because you're around these people and you feel so wise, but that's already getting into pride, right? It's like I said, if you're an iron sword and you got somebody over here who's an eraser, you're gonna chop right through them, right? But that's not gonna sharpen you in any way. So like you said, it becomes dead weight. We'll go ahead and read that one first.
27 and 17. Iron sharpened iron, so a man sharpened the countenance of his friend.
Con, iron sharpens iron. It's like yesterday how we were talking about the duck thing up.
Con. Yeah.
So
because for the longest time, I had an understanding, but at the same time, I hadn't seek counsel, but I kind of knew that was off. And just to play it safe, what the brother was bringing up is I had asked him about duck being clean or unclean. I had come upon a circumstance where I went to a restaurant and they were serving, I think it was duck oil or something like that with the fries. But I just played it safe. I got the organic fries. And that stayed in my mind, and I had that conversation. So I brought it up and I asked him because I figured, I just asked him, where does it say in Leviticus? Because I don't see it, and, he sharpened the iron just like that.
Con. So for some of you that because I used to have that same understanding as well a few years ago, how duck is unclean, right? But it doesn't say anywhere in the scriptures that duck is unclean. Some people try to make the connection about the whole swan thing, but then if you look in the Hebrew, it's clearly not talking about a swan. So that's the example I was giving is yesterday he reached out to me about it, and then I was just telling him like that's exactly what we're here for. We're here to sharpen each other like iron sharpens iron, right? But then you have the other type of people when you're getting counsel from the other type of people that don't have any wisdom, right? And this is what will happen to you.
Sirach 13 and 1. He that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith, and he that hath fellowship with a proud man shall be like unto him.
Pitch is the resin from a pine tree, right? I don't know how many of y'all have ever touched pitch before, but man, it is so, you touch your fingers and it's like, I mean, there's no other comparison I could give besides weed, right? When you have resin, you know, back in the days, when you get that resin on your fingers, and man, it's just so hard to come off, right? It's just so hard to. It's just your fingers are sticking together. You wash your hands already 2 or 3 times, and it's still on. You still smell it, right? That's how it is, and that's how pitch is. So it says, "He that toucheth pitch shall be defiled therewith." If you touch your clothes with pitch, it's not coming off. You can bleach it. You can use zote. Have you ever used zote?
The jabonzote?
Yeah. You can use that. You can use anything. It's still gonna leave a little stain, right? So it says, "He that fellowships with a proud man shall be like unto him, and pride being the beginning of all sin." right? Like it says in Sirach, pride is the beginning of all sin. When you're hanging out with prideful or sinful people, in one way or another, you're going to be like unto them, right? You're going to start picking up their traits. You're going to start picking up their habits. You're going to start accepting things that you wouldn't accept when if you weren't hanging out with them and if you were just around wise people. And that's why it says that a companion of fools shall be destroyed, because you're going to be like unto them. As a matter of fact, if you get verse 16 of Sirach 13 and 16 as well, Baba Kashaw. Kwame Asharala is duck clean. So actually, let me go while the brother's getting that. Let me go to Romans 4 and 15. All right.
You said Sirach 13 and 15?
And 16, not 16.
Con.
The water. So this is Romans 4 and 15. It says, because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression. Right? 1 John 3 and 4 says that sin is the transgression of the law, breaking the law. So in Romans 4 and 15, it says, where no law is, there is no transgression. Meaning if there is not a law on something, right, then it is not a sin, because there's no transgression of the law. Okay? So there is no verse in the Bible, in the Torah, that says that duck is unclean. Right? And like I mentioned before, I think it's Leviticus 11:21 maybe. Let me see real quick. People try to use that it says swan is unclean, right? But if you go into the Hebrew, it's not talking about swan. Let me see. Salaki, you want to get me that verse real quick, I don't want to pull it up because
you said 19?
Let me find it real quick. Salaki, it's 18. I'll read it real quick. That's all right. This is Leviticus 11 and 18. It says, and the swan and the pelican and the gear eagle, right? Those are unclean. So people try to say the swan and the duck, they're in the same family, so that makes the duck unclean, right? But if you go into the Hebrew, it's very clear that it's not talking about a swan.
Salakia, have you by any chance read this particular verse in the scriptures version?
No, I haven't.
So in the scriptures version, 11 and
18.
11 and 18, and the white owl and the pelican and the carrion vulture.
Khan. And that's one of it. Actually, I believe it says in the Hebrew, I believe it says little owl instead of swan, right? So we know a lot of English words were mistranslated. And so yeah, I challenge anybody who sees this and stuff. I know there's gonna be brothers that, oh well, no, that's unclean and this, that, and the other. But you'd have to show in the Torah where it says that the duck is unclean, because it doesn't show that, right? Not in Leviticus and not in I forgot what chapter it is, but in Deuteronomy as well, where it talks about the clean and unclean. All right. So going back to the topic at hand.
This is the one, right?
Yeah, we'll read 15 and 16. Go ahead, Art.
13 and 15. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor.
Whoever your neighbor is, whoever your friends, whoever your companions, the people you hang out with, even if you dislike them, you're gonna end up getting used to them. They're gonna become an acquired taste, right? You're gonna love them because you hang out with them so much.
All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like.
So all flesh consort or assort or hang out with right? The certain kinds. In high school, you had the stoners, the jocks, the emo, the whatever, right? They all assorted according to their kind. And a man will cleave to his like. The people that you hang out with, you are going to be like them and you're going to cleave onto them because y'all are going to be on one accord, right? So getting or hanging out with, like it says here, a proud man, a sinful man, because pride is the beginning of sin, you are going to be like unto them. So just hanging out with people and getting counsel from those types of people, you will start acting off of that counsel. 100%. You will start getting count if you even if you're not asking for counsel from them, what the things that they say, you're gonna start taking it into account and you're gonna start living it out, right? So if you could get Sirach 4 and 29, Baruch Shaw.
Con.
Let me go back to 37:16. So it says, this is Sirach 37 and 16. Let reason go before every enterprise and counsel before every action. Before you make a big action, right? You act and do something that's going to change your life, right? Like I said, whether it be joining a camp, whether it be teaching, whether it be getting married, whether it be moving, right? These big life-changing types of things, whether it be eating duck, right?
Con.
Like the brother said, it's better to be sure, right? It's better to be safe than be sinful, right? They say better to be safe than sorry, better to be safe than sinful, right? So let's read this real quick.
Sirach 4 and 29. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and thy deeds slack and remiss.
Be not hasty in your tongue and in your deeds, right? A lot of people are hasty in their tongue. A lot of people are hasty in the sense that if somebody says, like for example, if and this has happened, if I tell a brother or a sister, right? I haven't told a sister yet, but I tell a brother, yeah, shalom actually isn't a Hebrew word. It's actually shalom if you look it up in the Hebrew, right? And then right away, nah, you don't know what you're talking about, Ak, or nah, you're falling off, or yeah, nah, you this, that, and the other, right? They're hasty to go against it, right? Without even looking into or thinking about, well, maybe he's possibly right, right? Or if you tell somebody, like for another example, since the topic came up, if you're talking about duck and you tell somebody, oh yeah, did you know that duck actually isn't in the Torah? It doesn't say duck is unclean. They say, no, that's wrong. It's unclean. Well, why is it unclean? Because that's what I learned. My elder told me this, that, and the other, right? They'll be real hasty to just speak against it. And what does that sound like to you, Ak, when somebody's in that type of spirit?
Slothful.
Slothful, Khan, if they don't want to look into it themselves, right?
Well, you know what? Something that also made me think about it more was I saw a post. Um, I saw a post that had I think it had duck. I believe it had duck, but it was just like one of those picture ones, you know?
Khan.
It's like what one of those picture posts that has like the unclean foods categorized. Um and just like that, you know, those are awesome to an extent where
Khan.
it keeps that information fresh, it keeps scriptures in your mind, it keeps the scriptures on your feed. However, um you know, it's so easy to just absorb all this information that might be incorrect. And a lot
Khan.
of times we just read it. Okay, yeah, that's true. Next post, or okay, yeah, next one. Cool. Oh, that must be true because this brother posted it. You know,
Yup.
you kind of have to. That's why I was like, wait. I thought I don't really vibe with this. Let me check this out. You know, and that's why I hit the brother up.
Con. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm sure I've posted that before as well. I don't know if it was that exact same one.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I mean, I have it in my folder. I have it too in my unclean folder.
Con. Exactly. And that like you said, that is a slothful spirit, like you said, right? You're just gonna but again, we can put it off on social media, but only so much, because we're responsible for our own salvation, and we're supposed to look well, like we read in Proverbs a few lessons back, right? A prudent man or a man of wisdom is gonna look well to his goings, right? He's not just gonna believe the simple believe every word, right? We've fallen into the with social media, like that instant gratification spirit. And we sometimes we become simple and we just believe every word, right?
The evil.
And also that's a prideful spirit to be in as well, because no, what you're saying, no, that can't be right. Right? They're hasty to just push it off without even looking into it. So this brother said, whole time I thought shalom was the conjunction of words shalom and shalom. So shalom is Hebraically correct. So Khan, if you look up the word peace in Hebrew, it's only 3 characters, right? It's the sha, la, and ma. There's never a W in it. And there's different how would you call them? I guess words. Salakia.
Like accents out.
Yeah, I guess you could say like accents in the English. I forgot what they call them. There's little different, like they look like almost punctuations or accents, like the brother said, but they're not letters, right? So shalom is actually the correct way to pronounce it. There's the sha, which is the sh, then the la, the l, and then the ma, which is the m, which you can look it up in the blue letter Bible. I would suggest you look it up for yourself, right?
I'm on it right now. You had searched peace, and then I think you just pulled up a random scripture in Exodus, huh? Or something like that.
Con.
Yeah, you can look it up. I don't want to. I know that if you mirror the screen, it's gonna slow up. It slows up the stream. But if you look it up, you'll see it. You'll see the spelling.
Can you share your screen, Knock, or no?
Here, post it up. See if I can share screen. Try. Let me know if you can see it.
Okay, con.
So here, let me go back. And they rose up early in the morrow and offered true burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. Shalom, right here, this one, right?
Con.
Can you see that?
Con, I can.
So Shalom.
Strong's H 8002. Shelem.
So of course in the modern Hebrew they have the E, right? But in the Paleo Hebrew there was no E. So it would be Shalom. But it's the Shalama. What he just highlighted right there, the one that looks like a W, that's the Sha. Then that second that looks like a 7 or an upside down L, that's the La. And then you have the Ma. Right? So there's no W. There's no W anywhere. And in some of the words, because like what number is that at? H.
Let me go back. I lost it. H 8002.
Okay, 8002. I believe there's also like 799 and then 8001. There's different little conjunctions of it, but none of them have the W in it, right? None of them ever have the W. They'll have a little accent, which sometimes, so it would be pronounced, instead of shalom, it would be shalom, right? Like
This one,
SHALAWM.
this one is different. I'll give. Am I still sharing?
Con.
So this one's different. This one's shalom. You see that?
Con.
This one's in Genesis, but it's no, this though is the ma right here.
Con. So how is it what number is that? I'm gonna pull it up.
This is H7965.
965. And what's the definition on it?
Completeness, soundness, welfare, peace. Completeness, soundness, welfare, and peace.
Con. So see how it says, what's the root word on it, Doc? It should say like root word.
From H7999, pay, peace, recompense, reward.
Con. So that's the word, right?
Yeah.
Which is shalom. It's the sha, la, and ma.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then what Genesis, what was the one it was from? Do you know?
This is from Genesis 29:6, I believe.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
Whoops.
29:6.
No. 15:15. Salakia.
Okay, let me go to it. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. Okay, so yeah, so this isn't the greeting. You see how it's the same word, but it's used differently? Because like shalom, if you say shalom as a greeting, but then this one says and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, like being in a state of peace. Right. So that's why it's a different pronunciation and spelling, because it's not the exact same word. Right. So it'd be like here and here. Right. You hear something and you hear something. It's spelled a little different, but it's basically the same word, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look more into that one after this, though. So getting back to, okay, so the brother Kwame Asharala, I need counsel from you. I've been studying for a year. I'm compelled to teach, knowing I have a lot more to learn to be able to answer all questions. What should I do, Baba Kashaw? So if you have Instagram, you can reach out to me on there. But to give you a short answer, I would say the things that you have a grasp on, like the first things that you should be teaching is the foundational things, right? Faith and repentance is the number one and number two thing, right? There's not much that you have to learn in a sense of when it comes to like all these other things besides faith and repentance, right? If you stick to these two things, if you have these two things down, if you have faith in the Most High, sincere faith in the Most High, and you are repenting daily to the best of your ability, okay, this area I'm messing up, okay, now I got that under control. Something else you realize, okay, my anger, okay, this, oh, you know what, I got to stop doing whatever it is, right? You're repenting. That is something that you can teach, right? You teach what you know, and this is why the scriptures say, "Be not many masters," right? Because you can't be master over all these different things. Some brothers are better at teaching. I know some brothers that all they teach is prophecy, right? I know some brothers that are really good at teaching history, right? Like King David reigned in this year, and then Solomon in this year, and they have all this history, right? Then I know some brothers that are good at talking about marriage and about you know, ruling your house, things of that nature, right? It's like the study that we did about there's many parts of the body, right? There's one body, but we're all different parts, right? Oh, the water.
James 3:1, my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
You're gonna be held accountable for all the things that you teach, right? And this goes back to, you know, being hasty and things like that, because I do know brothers that were too hasty to teach, and I've seen them teach the wrong information. And guess what? You're gonna have a greater condemnation for that. As a matter of fact, if you get Second Peter, I believe it's 2:1.
Con.
Right? My brethren, be not many masters. What this means is you cannot master every single aspect of the Bible, right? You want to be out here, you can't be out here teaching about every single aspect of the Bible, right? And be a scholar and have all these precepts about all these different, you want to talk about you know, breakdowns of prophecy, you want to talk about parables, you want to talk about getting your house in order, you want to talk about the history, you want to talk about the you know, prophecies and reincarnation and all these different things. And let's say you're teaching all these different things, but you have a little bit wrong here, a little bit wrong there, a little bit of the truth here, a little bit of the truth there, right? You're going to have a greater condemnation for that. In other words, you're going to be held more accountable. So stick to the things that you know, right? Which, like I said, like in Hebrews, it says the foundations, the main principles, the milk is faith and repentance, right? So teaching the laws, you could just go through the laws, teach the law. Look, this law says you cannot work on Sabbath. You cannot buy on Sabbath. That's simple things that really anybody can teach as long as they're keeping them as well, right? Not to be a hypocrite. Exactly.
2 Peter 2:1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
You see, so when you're a prophet, and a prophet is just prophesying, speaking the word, right? And you're being a false teacher, you're teaching things that aren't true, right? What happens? It says you'll bring upon yourself swift destruction. You're gonna be destroyed because you're teaching the wrong thing, right? So you just have to be. That's why in James it said not to be many masters, or not to try to be a master over many different things, right? And the main thing, like you said, I understand not to be a hypocrite, right? Like the scriptures say, be thou not a hypocrite in the sight of men, right? You can't be a hypocrite because the Most High hates a false balance, right? Proverbs 11:1. He hates a false balance. And teaching the wrong thing, if you're not ready, can bring swift destruction to you, right? So actually, if you get Proverbs 20 and 25, Proverbs 20 and 25. Let's go back to let me see where it's at. So Rock 4 and 29. Where's it at? Bear with me 1 minute.
And this is a perfect example of this live, just in full effect, through bringing out scriptures. Conversation came out, and we ended up talking about how we edify each other and counsel each other, and in that sense, when he brought out shalom, we were able to kind of pull it out and show uh, how you say it, and hopefully, those that are watching you, if you are saying shalom, you come to your own conclusion. You actually pull up the Blue Letter Bible, you see how it's said, and not just for that sense of the word, but for all other things. It's a perfect example embodying the lesson of seeking counsel. I
Con,
I try to always, whenever I find new information, I always ask, um, like for instance, if I'm seeking the court, I'm gonna talk to someone who is either married or has gone through that. Same thing with the scriptures that were brought out earlier. You wouldn't go to someone who hasn't gone through that. Same with my testimony. I left substance abuse in the past, but I can talk about it now going forward because that's what I know. That's what I've been through. That's what I was into. And so, if someone were to ask me, I'm pretty sure that, just through testimony itself, you can teach
con,
just because it's something that you can actually attest to.
con, con. And that's what is it? Psalm 65:5. It says, by terrible things and righteousness, sometimes terrible things happen, and in the end it turns out righteous. The Most High lets you go through certain things, and now you can give your testimony and your experience and how you got through certain things, and you can help out somebody else, right? So Shawashai Mak, Shalom, Mak, Shalom. Hope all is
Shalom.
well. You want to go ahead and read this out?
Proverbs 20 and 25. It is a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy, and after vows to make inquiry.
So it's a snare. What is a snare? It's a trap, right? Something that could kill you, something that could harm you or hurt you at least, right? It is a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy. When you devour something, it's like, let's say I give you, you're hungry, you haven't eaten, I give you a pizza, like how we were talking about eating a pizza after you fast. It's horrible, horrible, but you devour it, right? You eat it up. So it says it's a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy, and after vows to make inquiry. So inquiry is like looking into something. Like say I was gonna get a job for the government, they're gonna make an inquiry into my past, right? They're gonna see if I've ever been arrested. They're gonna see if I failed drug tests. They're gonna see if I was in a gang. They're gonna see maybe what kind of tattoos I have. All these types of things. They're gonna make an inquiry into my past, right? So when it says it's a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy, what does the Most High see as holy? Let's think about that. Teaching His word, that's something holy, right? Let's say a woman, since we're talking about like courting, right? A woman that is trying to follow the Most High right now, right? Like it says in Proverbs, a woman that's trying to live righteously is more valuable than rubies, right? So let's say you have a man and he wants to devour a woman which is holy, right? He wants to take her as his wife, like that. He's hasty. And after vows, when you get married, what do? You take your vows, right? Till death do us part and all of this. Even if you don't say it, you know the word says you are making a vow that's supposed to last for life, right? So if it says it's a snare to a man who devoureth that which is holy, and after vows to make inquiry. So there's a lot of men that do this, right? I know about the truth now. I'm an Israelite, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to devour this woman. I'm going to take her as my wife. Even though she's holy, right? She's holy. She's trying to live by the word. I'm going to take her as my wife. After vows, after he takes her as his wife, then he makes the inquiry to see, wait, can I even support her? Can I teach her? Can I financially support her? Right? Can I be her head? Can I lead her? Right? That is a snare to a man to do that. If you want to get 1 Timothy 5 and 8, Baba Kashal, it's a snare to a man to do that, to be hasty and to get a woman and then to realize that he's not even in the position to treat her according to the word. Because guess what? The Most High is going to hold you accountable for that. Right? And that goes back to doing things decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40, let all things be done decently and in order.
But if any provide not for his own, and specially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
So you're worse than someone who doesn't believe if you do this. You want a woman, you want a wife, you take her, you give her your vows, you have sex with her, you get married, and now you're going to make the inquiry, wait, damn, how am I even going to support her? Damn, I can't even teach her, and now she's over here trying to learn from other brothers or from camps or from whatever, right? Because you didn't make the inquiry at the beginning, right? You didn't look into, or you didn't even think, and the reason, and it's like in the world, right? They say there's only enough blood to think with one of your heads. That's what it comes down to a lot of times, right? Like Tobit 8 and 7 says, I take this sister not for lust, right? But uprightly. A lot of brothers, they're taking women for lust, and then this is what happens. Right? They make the inquiry afterwards. And this is why a lot of relationships that are supposed to be for life aren't even for a few months, aren't even for a year, for a few years. Right? So if you could get a Luke 14 and 28. Luke 14 and 28. So as the man, you have to know it's a snare to you. It's a trap to you, right? To do this, to be too hasty and to take a woman as a wife, right? And devour her. And then afterwards, you're going to be like, man, you're going to make that inquiry into how she really is, right? Maybe you're the one that's trying to live uprightly and righteously as the man, right? But you didn't make the inquiry. You were too hasty. You didn't make the inquiry into how that sister really is. And now you're with a wife that's like a continual dropping, right? You're with a contentious woman. When the word says it's better to live on the top of a roof than with a contentious and brawling woman, right?
For which of you, this is Luke 14:28, for which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?
You get Proverbs 14 and 1 as well, Baba Kashal. Proverbs 14 and 1 and Sirach 26:26. The water. So it says, for which of you intending to build a tower? Now, if you look in some of the other translations, it'll say a house, right? So for which of you intending to build a tower or a house sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, right? So you don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to build a house, right? And you only got $10,000 and you start building it and you didn't think about how much money you had. And now you got half a house built and you got no more money. That would not be a wise thing to do, right? That's how people, how a lot of people that are too hasty, that's the spirit that they're in, right? A man is supposed to provide for his house, like we read in 1 Timothy 5:8, right? You have to provide for your own house. Sometimes it's not physically building up your house. I'm going to literally build a house, right? It's spiritually. Are you gonna sit down first and think about it? Okay, what is it gonna cost me to get into a marriage, right? Or you're just gonna be hasty and just jump in, right? Oh yeah, I want somebody. I need to get a female because I've been, nah man, I'm thinking about going to porn, or I'm gonna go to a strip club, or I'm gonna be like some of them GMS dudes that say it's okay to get a whore, right? So I'm just gonna get a wife. Before you do that, you have to count the cost and see if you have sufficient, if you have what it takes to finish it, right? What it takes to build up that house. And the same thing for the sisters as well, right? As we're going to see right here.
This is Proverbs 14:1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands.
There's two different types of women, right? And by the way, I'll just say it real quick. Tomorrow for Sabbath, I'm gonna do a real important lesson, and it's gonna be towards more towards single sisters, or for single sisters, right? If you wanna get on there as well,
Con.
and it's just gonna be like either what are you working towards, right? Reproach or being covered. Are you working towards being covered by a man or covered by Egypt? Because in these last days, that's what it's going to come down to, right? It's going to come down to, are you going to, like it says right here, every wise woman buildeth her house. Okay, why did the man? Let me ask you, why did the Most High create the woman?
To be a what is the word? Not a what is it? Salakia.
It's all right. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, you're good. It's to help out the man, basically, to allow him to serve the Most High better. To be, it's not a servant; it's more so somebody that's going to be more beneficial towards building towards the Most High.
Khan, exactly. The word you're looking for is help me, right?
Help me, Khan.
Khan. So you said a help. You're halfway there. It's all good though. So a help meet. So if the Most High created the woman for the man, right? Raheem Wilkins said a pillar of rest. So Khan, it says that as well in Sirach, right? But in Genesis, it says to be a pillar of to be a help meet, and well, yeah, it says that as well, right? A help meet and a pillar of rest. You're right. So if the Most High created the woman for the man, right? Doesn't the Most High provide everything for those that are following him? What would you say, Ak? Everything they need?
Khan.
Right? So in these last days, sincere women of the Most High are going to be provided with a husband. I guarantee you that. But there's some women that are still in the spirit of Christ is my man, God is my man, this, that, and the other, right? But guess what? That's nowhere in the scriptures, right? God will protect me. I don't need a man. I've seen and heard all of this. But when you look through the scriptures, how were women of the Most High protected all throughout the scriptures? By a man of the Most High, right? Even Deborah, the prophetess, because some sisters want to say, I can prophesy and blah, 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 because Deborah was a prophetess. Guess what? She was married too, right? So that's what we're going to go over tomorrow for the live tomorrow. And I'll post it up on my Instagram and stuff as well. But so like it says here, Proverbs 14:1, every wise woman buildeth her house. How are you going to be a wise woman if you don't even have a house to build? Right? Now, this isn't talking physically again. Okay, I have a house, I'm going to start building it. I'm a woman. No, it means she's going to raise her children right. She's going to take care of the household. She's going to be a pillar of rest and a helpmeet to her husband, right? She's going to be humble. She's not going to be clamorous, all of these things. But the foolish plucketh it down with her hands, right? She just tears her house down. She tears her man down, right? She doesn't teach her children anything. Why? What does this have to do with being hasty? A lot of women don't have the spiritual or mental or emotional capability to build up a house, right? So you can't be so hasty to just you have to work on yourself, because a lot of sisters want, I want a man of the Most High and he's got to have this and that and this and that and the other, and then they can't cook, they don't like to clean, they're not good with children, they're not gonna massage your feet, right? After a long day of work, they're not gonna be a pillar of rest. So that would be a false balance, right? So as well, the females cannot be so hasty to just want to jump into something that they're not even ready for. Because if they're not ready to build up their house, then they're going to be plucking it down with their hands, right?
So Rock 26 and 26. A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all, but she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all.
So a woman that honors her husband. So you got to ask yourself before you're even going to get into a relationship, right? Which I'm not going to get into too much right now. We'll go over that tomorrow. But before you even get into a relationship and want to be hasty to jump into it, are you willing? Are you ready and willing to jump into a man's home and be so humble that you are going to honor him no matter what? You're going to respect him. You're going to be a pillar of rest and a helpmeet, right? Because according to the scriptures, you'll be judged wise of all just by doing that. If you want to get 1 Corinthians 11 and 3, right? So a woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. So a lot of women are hasty to get into a marriage or get into a courtship, a relationship, whatever y'all want to call it, worldly, right? You want to jump into a marriage and be hasty to do that, then you better be ready to honor your husband. Because if you're not honoring him, if you're not going to honor him, and that means you're dishonoring him, right? And the Most High says you're going to be counted ungodly of all.
This is 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is Yahweh.
So why would you be counted ungodly of all if you're disrespecting or dishonoring your head, your husband? Because he is supposed to be the representative of the Most High and Yahushai, right? Of Hamashiach or of Christ. So you can't be so hasty to dishonor and disrespect. You're going to be real hasty to jump into a marriage, right? But then if you're going to dishonor the man that is supposed to be representing Yahushai in your home, you are going to be counted ungodly of all, right? And this is also why you shouldn't be hasty, why there has to be some type of courting process, right? Because you don't know, oh, well, I was disrespecting him because he wasn't acting like Christ. Well, then why'd you marry him in the first place? Right? That all goes back to being hasty. That all goes back to you can blame, and it's like we said earlier, about like duck or about anything that you learn, right? But in the end, it was just us being too hasty to just accept something, right?
This is Sirach 4 and 29. Be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss.
So be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. You're being, a lot of times, are people just being too slack? You just accept anything, you just do anything, right? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Do it. Boom, you sin. You say something, you sin. You're angry and you say something, and then you sin, right? As a matter of fact, if you get Proverbs 29:20,
Come,
I'm gonna give you a couple if you want to write them down real quick.
go ahead.
Proverbs 29:20, Ecclesiastes 7 and 9, and Ephesians 4:26. Right? Because we just talked about a few ways that we're hasty in our deeds, right? When it comes to teaching and you're not ready to teach. And then guess what? Now you're a false prophet and you can bring upon yourself damnation, right? Being hasty in your deeds to get married, and now you're considered ungodly of all because you're dishonoring your husband, or being hasty in your deeds because you married a woman and now you're not even ready to provide for her, right? So now let's talk about being hasty in your tongue, in the things you say. So Master Shifu put, a wicked woman is given unto a wicked man, but what if the man is righteous and the woman isn't? So if the man is righteous, he's not going to get with an unrighteous woman. Hey Ak, would you get with a woman that that shows her body on Instagram?
Of course not.
Would you get with a woman that is disrespectful to you?
Nope.
That's because you're trying to live righteous, right?
Con.
That's because you have wisdom of the scriptures. So just because it says a wicked woman is given to a wicked man, right? Or not even just because. It says that for a reason, right? The man is not righteous if he's dealing with unrighteous females, right? And that goes back to what was it? 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, which we read earlier. Let me go back to it real quick. It says, how or why are you going to be unequally yoked together with unbelievers, right? It says, what communion has light with darkness? And then it even says that you have to separate yourself from those people for the Most High to accept you.
I pulled it up.
Okay, the water.
I just posted it on the bottom.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Could you pull up verse 17 as well, Baruch? Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness? And like we read earlier, right? Like we read earlier, if you're going to be yoked together with an unbeliever, what's going to happen? You're going to start acting like unto them. You're going to start being like them. You will be it says, Sirach 13 and 1 says, he that hath fellowship with a proud man shall be like unto him. If you're with a sinful person, you're going to end up being like unto them, right? Verse 17, you want to read it out?
Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
So guess what? There's a lot of brothers or sisters that are trying to live clean, right? They're trying to live clean. This says, touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So if let's say, for example, let's say I'm dating somebody, right? Or I'm courting somebody. I don't even like using the term dating. Let's say I'm courting another female, right?
Okay.
And she ate pig today. Then she's unclean till when, Ak?
Till Eve.
Okay, she's unclean for the rest of the day. So now what if I go and let's say I marry her, we have sex, She was unclean. Guess what? Now I'm unclean. You see how that works? That's a physical example. But now imagine in the spiritual, right? They're spiritually unclean, right? Shalom, can two unrighteous come together and find the Most High and then turn righteous together? So that's like we've said in almost every lesson I've done, every man has his own lot, right? Every man's situation or woman's situation is completely different. Am I going to say that's impossible? I can't say that. Everything's possible with the Most High, right? Now, can I say I've ever seen that happen? I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Do you know anybody that's happened to, Ak?
Not personally.
Not me either, not personally, right? Let me go back up. I think there was a couple more comments. Say they are already married and the man discovers the Most High. So if they're already, hold on, let me go back up. What if the man is righteous and the woman isn't? Say they are already married and the man discovers the Most High. I mean, that's possible. You want to go to 1 Corinthians 7 and let me see. Seven and 13. 13 and 14, knock.
Come.
Okay, sure. So now these two verses, so we always have to read Paul's writings in context, okay? Because what you have to understand about Paul's writings, especially like say Corinthians, right? This, for example, chapter 7. Before these two verses, in verse 12, it says, but to the rest speak I, not the Lord. Okay? All throughout Paul's writings, verse 6, he says, but I speak this by permission and not of commandments. Okay? Paul says this many times. He's making a distinction saying, look, the Most High, this isn't a law. This isn't a commandment. I am saying this as advice towards you. Okay? Because Corinthians is a letter written to the Israelites in Corinth at a certain period of time. And this was a response letter, right? It's like if the brother Jomar wrote a letter to me asking me questions, right? And then I write a response to him. Now we don't know exactly what was said in the letter to Paul, right? We don't have that information. That's important information to know. Wouldn't you think that?
Most definitely, yeah. Context.
Exactly. We don't have the full context. So this is advice. Well, we're about to read right here because the sister said, say they're already married and the man discovers the Most High, right? If you're already married, then guess what? If the woman is trying to be in the truth, she's got to stay with him. There's nothing she could do about it unless that man wants to leave her, right? She's bound by law. Actually, verse it's in the same chapter. Let me see. Verse 10 says, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. The Most High demands the wife to stay with the husband, right? And there's other verses as well that say you're bound by law. It's in the same chapter. I don't want to get off topic, right? I want to answer the question. And if the man discovers the Most High, right? That's possible when they're married. But let's read what Paul said, right? Verse 13.
And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him.
So if the woman is already married, right, and has a husband that doesn't believe, and he still wants to live with her, right, then let her not leave him. She's not supposed to leave him.
For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy.
So the wife can be the wife, let's say for example, my example with my rib, right? She was starting to come into the truth, and she showed me she didn't do it the wrong way. She handed me a flashcard with cards with the verses on it. She said, "Can you check out these verses? Check out this video, blah blah blah." Right? And I started being sanctified by the way that she was acting and the things that she was doing. Right? And the same thing vice versa. Okay? Now, does this mean now remember verse 12? Actually, if you could pull up verse 12, Baba Kasha, because we have to understand that again, Paul was saying, the rest speak I am saying this. He was giving them in Corinth advice. Okay, he says the rest speak I, not the Lord, right? Because we know that Yahweh already said there's tens and tens and tens and tens of verses that say you're not supposed to be unequally yoked, that say can two walk together except they be agreed, right? That say he that's with a proud man is going to be defiled by him, that say you're not supposed to be joined unto harlots, right? That say all of these things, that say you're supposed to be set apart. So we have to understand that this is a very specific circumstance, right? But to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother hath a wife that believe not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So this is saying you come into the truth, you're already married, right? This doesn't mean this is a free pass. You can go marry someone who's not in the truth, right? You got anything to add to that, Art?
No, I think you covered it pretty well, the water.
Con. So my phone is 2%. I'll come back soon. Con, shalom. She can win him over. So she sometimes the man can be won over. There's actually a verse that says, let me see, that he can be won over by the good, how does it say? You know, a verse I'm thinking about, by the good conversation of the wife, I believe is what it says. But Khan, the brother hit it on the head. She can win him over with, like, put it like this, for example. Let's say the woman has been clamorous and disrespectful the whole time she's been married with this man, right? And then she starts acting right. She starts cooking for him. She starts respecting him, right? She starts praying for him. She starts doing her wifely duties, right? That could win over a brother, right?
1 Peter 3:1.
Calm.
Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may be without the word, be won by the conversations of the wives.
There you go, right? They may be without the word, but then your wife, you see her start wearing a dress, wearing a head wrap. She starts covering up. She's not posting lascivious pictures on social media no more, even though y'all are married, right? She starts cooking for you without even asking. She starts talking to you more respectfully. That could help to win over through the spirit of the Most High, of course, can help to win over that man. Well, man, what is she? Something changed, right? And now he wants to get more into it. right? So let's go back to, we're going to talk about being hasty in your speech, right? Let me see. There you go.
Proverbs 29 and 20. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him.
A man that is hasty, just, we all know people like that, that they just got to keep talking. You say something and they got to just blurt something else out, right? They're hasty with the things that they say. You're not even done with your sentence and they're already talking, right? You haven't even finished asking the question. They already know the answer and they're going to blurt it out. There is more hope of a fool than of him, right? The scriptures say that a wise man will desire an attentive ear. Like a wise man is going to want to hear. Because how do you learn things? Is it by talking all the time? It's by hearing things, right?
This is Ecclesiastes 7 and 9. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools.
Don't be hasty in your spirit to be angry. And I could be perfectly honest with y'all. This is something that I have struggled with in the past. Being hasty to get mad. Even before the truth and then even coming into the truth. Before the truth, shoot, you can ask my wife. I embarrassed her many times because anytime we would go out, say we went to the mall, the movies, the carnival, the park, whatever, if there was a dude looking at her or something, and I would have to say something, you know what I mean? I would get angry real quick. I'll be trying to like fight somebody, and I would embarrass her a lot. She always brings that up because when we were first dating, and she said that's a big difference or a big change that the truth made, right? And what that comes down to is just being able to control your spirit. If you can't control your spirit, or if you want to get a Proverbs 25 and 28, if you can't control your own spirit, then all these other spirits are going to come into you. And that's why it says, be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry. That anger is a spirit. For anger resteth in the bosom of fools. The bosom is like your stomach. It's the center, right? You have to be able to control your spirit.
Proverbs 25 and 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls.
So back in the days, I was mentioning this yesterday. Back in the days, all the cities in the movies and stuff, they just show like a big castle and then the wall around it, right? But in reality, it was whole cities that had walls. Have you ever seen the Borgias, Ak?
I know about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, Con. So it's for those of y'all who don't know, the Borgias is basically a tale of the Pope and his son, Cesare or Cesare Borgia, which is the image, the man that they used as the image for Christ, right? So if you look at where they lived, though, in Rome, and they had the big wall going all the way around it, right? The reason they had that, and as you see in the show and in movies and things like that, is so that invaders can't just come in and walk in and take over, right? Or kill people or steal. So when it says he that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls, right? You ruling your spirit, that is, or controlling your spirit, that is the walls around you. That is the protection from evil spirits coming in, right? So going back to where it says you're not supposed to be hasty to be angry in your spirit, that's because when you're hasty, you're just allowing that angry spirit to enter into you and use you as a vessel, right?
Ecclesiastes 7:9. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools.
Con.
Ephesians 4:26. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
So be ye angry and sin not. Because a lot of times when you're angry, you do stuff that you later regret and it can cause you to sin. Right? I know we've all heard of cases where, say, a female gets mad at her dude. She gets angry and then she goes out and cheats on him, right? And fornicates with somebody. Or goes out and smokes some rock or some weed or does some base or gets drunk or whatever the case may be, right? There's so many things, so many examples you could give that when you get angry, you do things that cause you to sin, right? So be ye angry and sin not, because when you get angry, it is going to many times it's going to lead you to sin, right? So if you could get let me see, Proverbs 19:2 and 14:29. Proverbs 14:29. Go back down on the comments. Emmanuel Yasharala, discernment. Khan, discernment with everything. I believe that was talking about with the man or the woman. Shalom Kentu. Okay, yeah, we read that one. Let me see. Meaning this me speaking as a man, my words. Salakia Ak, which topic or what were we talking about when you mentioned that? Let me see. Matthew 25:14. Can you touch on this? This is why I feel an urgency to teach. 25:14. So is that the parable of the 10 virgins, or is that right after it? Let me see. Okay, Khan, that's right after. Okay, yeah, of the talents. Khan. So the Most High is gonna put the Spirit on you to do and to teach whatever you need to, right? If you feel that you're able to, let's say you feel like you're good at repenting, right? Then teach repentance. You feel like you got really good faith, teach faith, right? Like the brother said, he's gone through certain things, right? He's gone through certain things, so he feels like he can teach that now. That's the same thing that we all have to apply to ourselves, right? So the brother will be back right now. But yeah, I would definitely say, I'll probably go over that tomorrow. We'll go over the whole that whole parable walk. That's cool. So this is Proverbs 19:2. Right, it says also that the soul be without knowledge. So like my screen is freezing up. Let me see. Okay, hopefully that clears it up. The brother's gonna be back in just a minute. So Proverbs 19:2 says also that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. Right? Hosea 4:6 says that our people destroyed for lack of knowledge. So someone without biblical knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, it is not good. Right? That goes without saying. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. Right? He that is hasty to just get into something sins. Right? Whether it be like, whether it be to teach, whether it be to jump into a marriage, whether it be to do anything. You're hasty, it's not going to be good, right? You're not to be hasty because you're being slack and you will remiss. Sirach 4:29. This is Proverbs 14:29. It says, he that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. Right? When you're slow to wrath, slow to anger, you have a great understanding. But if you are hasty in your spirit, whether it be to be angry, whether it be to do any type of thing, right? Whether it be to teach, I'm just going to teach, I'm hasty to do it, right? So, like, in 1 second, the brother Jomar's hitting me up on the private chat, said his computer is freezing up. Can't for that. The brother's computer was freezing up, right? So he had to get off of here, but it's all good. It's all good. Let me go back to, okay, yeah. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is of a hasty spirit exalteth folly. What is folly? It's foolishness, right? So you have wisdom and you have foolishness, right? You're either moving in wisdom or you're moving in foolishness, right? You can't be moving in both. So when you are being hasty, you just do things. You just say things without even thinking about it, right? You're being hasty. And if you're being hasty, you are moving in what? In folly and not in wisdom, right? So why the word has so many verses that say not to be hasty, right? Because in hastiness and be moving in wisdom at the same time, right? So I don't know if it's because the brother got off or what, but now my computer is starting to freeze up as well. All right, my computer's starting to slow down, freeze up. Pull up a verse. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it. I'm gonna close it out. Tomorrow at 11 p.m. Central, we'll be back on here again, and it's gonna be a message for single sisters, right? Everybody can learn something from it, but it's going to be a message directed to single sisters, right? If you're a single sister, you're gonna 14 and 15. Salakia. See, it keeps cutting out, man. I'm gonna finish with Mark 4:14 and 15. It says the sower soweth the word. So right now, me and the brother Jomar, we're sowing the word, right? Trying to sow it into your heart, into your mind. And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. Right? That's what's happening right now. It's getting choppy, like the brother said. It's getting choppy, like the brother Kwame Yasharala said, because Satan is trying to take away the word that is sown in your hearts right now. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and finish it with that. give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. And like it says here, the counsel of the Most High is what is going to stand, right? The counsel of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is what stands no matter what. Don't be hasty to do anything or to take away. Salakia, it's freezing up. Right? Or to take anybody's advice if it's not coming straight from the word. Right? Like the brother said, Satan's coming immediately. So when you hop on it or try it, maybe in the next few seconds, minutes, hours, Satan will come and tempt you. Right? He will come to try you and take away the word that was just sown into your hearts. Right? So I pray y'all have a good prep day in the spirit of the Most High. And we'll see y'all tomorrow, Most High willing, YouTube channel. Right? So with that, I say all praise to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, Barakatah, to all you sincere brothers and sisters trying to live out this truth in humility and sincerity.